Should have brought some water.
Did you eat your chips?
No, I stayed away from the chips, and my AM chip consumption has been squashed. Welcome to Covers' Puck Props with 14-year NHL vet Carlo Colaiacovo. That game not going over absolutely stunk. We got the Chinnikov shots. We got the Rob Thomas power play point right out of the gate. That handicap was looking great. Oh, St. Louis can score. St. Louis can score on the power play. And then it was 2-2 after 25 minutes, and they didn't score another regulation goal for 35 minutes.
We got the Lafreniere shots, too, in the first period.
That was from the chat. The chat was all over that. It was
that wasn't one of our plays?
That was not one of our plays. Oh,
it was one of my plays. That was the message
you sent me last night. I didn't have the heart to tell you it wasn't one of our plays.
Oh, no, I was one of my plays. I hit it on my play. So
one of the six laggers. One of the big parlay night or no?
Today's gonna be for sure. Big board.
Big board. Both 2 points scored. The Hyman, the McDavid, the Kyrou, and the Rob Thomas hit that. Austin Matthews anytime goal. Yeah, that price is absolutely falling. I think we mentioned it last time. It's like the Christian McCaffrey touchdown. I know that the angle's been played out a bit. I'm sure you've even mentioned it on air before, but Christian McCaffrey was like minus 250 for a touchdown down the stretch there, which is wild. Matthews is still, I believe, minus 130 at Sports Interaction, where the odds are coming from today. Good morning to the chat. Let's get right to it. Big slate today. Special guest coming in.
Hey,
random popping. But it's going to be funny. Producer Mick is probably so angry because we got the screen set up for two faces. So once we bring in the third face, the user experience is going to change drastically, but we'll deal with it.
Is one of us going off?
No. We don't take shifts. No. We're pulling the goalie. We'll skate three, bud.
Nice. Love it.
Let's go. Vegas, Boston. Boston is returning from that West Coast road trip, and I'm reaching for this Vegas money line at plus 135. That is a hefty price for Vegas after what they rebounded well in the Toronto game, right? They showed a lot of heart. They're missing still a ton. Jack Eichel is skating, but he won't be back. But this is a Boston team that even since before they went on that road trip and they had that, I think it was a 5-game home stretch, they've been pretty brutal. They're 3-8 straight up in their last 11. Bro, their last regulation win, February 8th.
Wow.
6 straight overtime games. Talk to me about coming back from the West, and then we add in a fact that they've played a lot of extra hockey. How does that work into Vegas's favor today after a solid game in Toronto?
Well, just look at who Vegas played last game, the Toronto Maple Leafs, who returned off a Western road trip, right? I mean, they didn't play their best game. It took them a while to get going, and during that time it took them to get going, it allowed Vegas to take over the game. It felt like the longer Vegas stayed in the game, because of all their injuries up front, it gave them more belief that they were going to win that game. They got the first goal, and next thing you know, Vegas had all the confidence in the world they were going to win that game. And it was a big win for Vegas, responding from their embarrassing loss to Toronto days prior in Vegas last week. And, you know, they've got to feel like they're bringing in a lot of confidence going into this game in Boston, knowing that they were able to get a big win in Toronto. They are fully healthy on defense. Adin Hill looked like he played one of his strongest games of the season, last game too. So they're going to bank on that sort of defensive structure to help generate wins in offense for them and capitalize on the other team's mistakes if and when they make them. And for Boston, you know, I never want to talk down about Boston because they always seem to prove me and everybody else wrong. They're a very good team, but let's be honest, they're stuck in a rut right now. It's a mid-season rut. They've had a great season up until this point. They're still finding ways to get points, but they're very similar to what the Maple Leafs went through early on the season where, you know, everyone was saying, yeah, they're getting points, but they're not getting enough regulation wins. They're finding themselves going into overtime a lot. You know, they're getting those loser points. Well, all those add up, right? And for Boston, you know, even though they don't feel like they may be playing their best hockey of the season right now, they're grinding away through the grind part of their schedule and they're finding ways to bank points. So Vegas at plus money here seems like the value play.
Good plus money at plus 135. Boston 26th this month in shot attempt differential. Bottom 5 in goals per game, 5-on-5 per 60. So there's a lot to like here. Vegas, and my favorite takeaway from your point, Carlo, is Vegas is back to full health on the blue line, and this is probably one of the best defensive teams talent-wise. When you bring back someone like Shea Theodore, things are going to get a lot better on the back end. And it was nice to see Aiden Hill bounce back in that good game versus Toronto versus the previous game versus Toronto. So when he's back, there's a big difference. And we're sticking with that game. Say, who's Michael Amadio?
What?
Yeah, and just because
there's a market for this guy.
Yeah, exactly. There is an SIA. Let's take him for a point at plus 135. We'll stack it. So we got a couple of plus 135 plays in this. He's playing top 6 right now, and the top 6 in Vegas, there isn't like a top line, obviously, with the Stone injury, with the ankle injury. We got Barbashev, Stephenson, and Michael Amadio on the what is called the second line, but he's also on PP1, which is something I'll take. His time on ice since his bump, 6 minutes up. That is substantial because there's a reason you didn't know Michael Amadio. He was a bottom 6 guy, and just the jumping from bottom 6 to top 6 goes that way. Points in 4 of his last 5, bud.
Hey now,
the 5.5 total is giving a little boost to this number. Quick one. Can anybody, is there that big of a talent separation in the league between forward number 7 and forward number 10? Can basically any guy kind of jump up into these roles and just find success?
No, not any guy.
But there's not a big discrepancy between a Michael Amadio.
Yeah,
and
I guess you're right. I guess you're right, but a lot of it is based on the type of players you play with, right?
Yeah.
And what type of chances they create. Look, anytime you're elevated in the lineup, it's always a good thing, right? You're playing with better players.
Was Chris Kunitz always a great player?
No. Right?
But he's a poster boy for it.
He's a great example of a guy who piggybacked off one of the best players on the team and found a way to make a living and a career for himself. This guy played on Team Canada.
Gold medal. I was just going to say that.
Yeah, won a gold medal because he proved that he was a good complement on the wing for Sidney Crosby. So that's how guys find their own opportunities. Now, will every guy benefit in the same way? Probably not. But you're given a chance to produce in situations that you're just not used to. There's a difference in playing 17 or 18 minutes a night than 9 or 10 minutes a night.
Big time.
So, and because of that, you got to like the favor in the chances of the player, producing in those moments because they're given the chance to.
J.A. asked, Boston game going over or under 5.5. I mean, if we see Boston come out slow and sluggish, I lean on the under if Vegas can clamp down and get that early lead and hold Boston down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but if it's real loose, if it looks different, obviously 5.5 is a small number.
I don't like betting under 5.5 because you could get a 2-2 game with a late goal and then get ruined on an empty netter, right?
Yeah, or you could not get any goals like we did last night.
Right. And surprising that both games with 6.5 totals stayed under, and there was a 4-1 and 3-2 game.
Vegas 4-2. That's what I got.
Then it goes over.
Yeah,
right.
There we go.
So
all right, special man in the green room today. We won't make him wait long because his time is important. He's on Before You Bet today at 12 noon, so make sure you check that out. Let's bring in the man who's been hiding in the weeds.
There he is.
Hiding in the weeds.
There he is.
Joe Osborne, welcome to Covers His Puck Prop. Give Joe a little like and subscribe button there.
Yeah,
everyone.
What's up?
Hello,
Joey?
everyone. Hello. Yeah, no Before You Bet today. We changed it from Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So no Before You Bet today.
Ruined the Thursday show.
So I'm not too busy. I'm not too busy.
We're done. All right, perfect. So before you bet,
wait, Josh. What's with the Pittsburgh Penguins hat? I gotta know.
That's my team, man.
That's your
I've been
team.
a diehard fan since I was a little kid. I jumped on
now.
the bandwagon back when they went back to back there with Super Mario and Yager.
Yeah.
I'm happy I stuck with them. There were some lean years where they were absolutely awful, but as a result of being awful, they got Crosby and Malkin and Marc-Andre Fleury.
And 2 more cups. Three more cups, actually.
Three more Stanley Cups. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's been a great team to be a fan of. Now it looks like they're headed for lean years once again. They haven't been able to. The drafting hasn't been strong. They don't have a whole lot of young talent there. They're an old team. But yeah, I'm a very proud Penguins fan.
Nice. Big fans of you in the group chat.
They are not dying either, by the way. I like them today, but Joe's been sniffing winners there. I did like Columbus last night at +1.5. I like both dogs.
Yeah.
But it's coming. The New York play is coming. They're still giving up a ton of chances. But what do you got?
Don't you just hate when you bet a hockey plus a goal and a half and the team pulls the goalie with like 2 or 3 minutes left and you're like, come on, really?
I knew it was coming. They were down 2-0 and they get a goal. I think it was a bit earlier in the third.
Yeah.
And I just knew. I was like, they're going to pull the goalie and I'm going to lose. And is that a bad beat? Kinda. It's annoying. I don't know if it's a bad beat because it happens every night in the NHL, right? It's more annoying than a bad beat. But yeah, that was frustrating. Columbus hung with them, I thought, in the game. Shots on net were pretty close. I think Columbus actually had a few more. But that's the way she goes, fellas.
I would think dodging, losing, and then winning the +1.5 is less probable than the outright side. So you obviously wanted to go to overtime and just kind of cash that.
Yeah.
Dodging that empty net goal on the reverse puck line is probably one of the scariest bets you can have, because it's not like you're looking for big plus money. If you're at the +1.5, you like last night, I think it was -110. It's somewhere around there. And usually when you want the empty net goal, you don't get it. And on that side, it's the other way. But you're attaching the cart to an absolute wagon today. What do you like about the Wings, Joe? What do you like about the Wings?
A lot of pressure on me coming off that loss there yesterday.
We didn't ask after the wins.
Yeah, I like Detroit. I think they're being undervalued at home. I got them -111. You dig into the analytics. It's about even here with the Islanders over the last couple of weeks. I like looking at a 10-game sample size, but they got a few things going in their favor. Yes, they are the hot team. 6 straight wins here. They have Lyon going in net for them. He is much better on his home ice. A .236 goals against average. The Wings are on a 6-1 tear in his last 7 games at home. You look at the other guy in net there for the Islanders, Sorokin. He's much worse on the road. So a lot of contrast there. Detroit, very disciplined. They're not spending a lot of time in the box, capitalizing on the power play quite well over the past couple of weeks as well. So I would say they do have the special teams advantage. And I love my trends, right? The Islanders, very, very inconsistent. Coming off a win in Dallas, impressive, yes, but they are just 1-8 after a win going back to the middle of December. So not a lot of consistency from them. So I'll hop on the wagon here. Red Wings, let's get back in the winner's circle.
I am also with you on the Wings here. I keep eating chips. And
stop eating those chips, man.
Why are you eating chips early in the morning?
I'd say I'm up early.
10 a.m. chips.
Soccer.
Hey, man, I know the feeling. I'm a morning show guy, so to me, there is no breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
There is no time.
Yeah.
But Detroit obviously riding that 6-game winning streak. That's a lot of guys are going to jump on it just for that fact. They're hot. This is being priced that Detroit would be an underdog on neutral ice if they went that way, which I don't see right now. My favorite thing about it was the Chicago game. That was massive, right? Like Kane's return to Chicago. Let's see how they rebound after that game. Was it a look-ahead spot? They could have taken their foot off the gas. They go out and absolutely hang an 8-pack on Washington.
Yeah.
That shows me that this team's really focused now. Their top 2 lines. I love the secondary line right now with JT Compher and Lucas Raymond. And now that they've brought DeBrincat and Kane up to that top line, There's a lot to like, and I'm buying it too at minus 115.
Well, I before you guys even mentioned this, I quickly glanced at the board this morning. I'm like, okay, how many games are on the schedule tonight? Who am I looking at? And I scrolled down. I'm like, I see Detroit as a small favorite. I'm like, small favorite? Who are they playing? And I'm like, I see the Islanders. I'm like, the Islanders are a team that I've been wanting to buy into because I like the coaching move and what that could represent for this group of players that has that stale feel to them, and maybe that injection of a Patrick Waugh energy could get this team going. But it's like everything you said, Joe. Every time you start to believe in them, they lose games they should win. It's like, okay, well, they're losing me a lot of money right now. Like, I don't know if I can put much more faith into this Islanders team. I was actually on Dallas the other night, and the Islanders come up with a big win, and I'm like, what is it with these Islanders team? When I buy into them, they lose. When I bet against them, they win. And there's so much to like about Detroit right now with, the Patrick Kane thing, the winning 6 games in a row, that at home, the offense that they're getting. I just don't know how you can overlook this value on this team right now with Detroit.
Yeah, quite a bit of momentum. If you dig into the analytics, not very impressive, but either is the Islanders by any means. And if it was Detroit minus 145, probably not a whole lot of interest, but the price has almost everything to do with this pick and the inconsistency of the Islanders as well. So hopefully Detroit can make it 7 in a row here tonight.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. 5-8 under Patty Roy. Really hasn't all the bag skating really hasn't correlated to wins. 64% PK, 31st in the league.
Yikes.
Yeah, that is a big yikes. But Joe, appreciate you stopping in. Thanks. Happy to know we're on the same side. We'll get you in another time.
Let's do it, Joe. Keep bringing those winners, bro.
And don't forget,
Penguins.
Tune in before you bet tomorrow, 12 o'clock. Let's go.
Absolutely. All right, fellas. Thank you guys for having me. See you guys.
Cough button working, making it work. Detroit 10-1 ATS at home. Let's go. Over 2.5 shots cash. Let's go. Happy he's on the wings. It is. I mean, it's going to be a square play. There's going to be a lot of guys.
Yeah, it's almost too good to be true.
I know it's looking that way. But the only thing that's keeping me on it is absolutely the response that they had after that Chicago game. They put up a season high 8 goals versus Washington. All dressed chips, of course. And when those are gone, they're the small packs from Costco. Not a sponsor. Apologize. Once those are gone, then it goes to the Smart Food. Are you a big fan of the Smart Food popcorn?
Oh, yeah, my kids love it, man.
Oh God,
yeah.
It's the worst smelling. It's literally the worst smelling snack in town. But oh God,
I wouldn't say that. I kind of actually. That's what gets me.
It's not really cheese, whatever that is.
Yeah,
it's
the white cheese.
Yeah,
it gets me. The smell is what actually gets me excited to eat it. Right?
Oh God! Oh, he's an old factory.
And then that white powder on your hands.
Oh, it's the worst. It's not powder at that time. It turns into white slime. Yeah, come for the NHL pick. Stay for the snack talk. That's the new puck prop motto. But let's keep going. We had Detroit. We did a lot of work in Vegas. We still got some more things to do. We go to Tampa Bay where Buffalo comes into town. And here I am again betting unders. I hate betting unders. Like you'll go on shows and people like say, is he over better? Is he under better? He's probably sharper if he's an under better. I get that. At the end of the day, I'm sweating these bets out, and the return on investment I want for entertainment is there. Betting unders is a hard thing to do. I can't watch hockey and bet under. It's impossible for me to do. But this is a game I like the under on. It's moving. It's minus 120 right now at Sports Interaction. There are some 6s popping up. This should close at 6. Buffalo is not a team right now that's scoring a lot. 5th in expected goals, and they're keeping them out. 27th in expected goals. 5th in expected goals against, 27th for. Tampa Bay coming off that absolute collapse versus Philly. 1-1. We're talking about we need some overs. How about that game? 1-1 going into the third, finishes 6-2. So now we got the lawyer. Now we got John Cooper trying to rally his team after that collapse. They're opening up a 5-game homestand in Tampa Bay today. They're 6 points up. There's a chance Detroit's in and Tampa Bay is out of the playoffs come season end. But following that collapse, what do you think a guy like John Cooper, who is one of the most grizzled, experienced leader. Like Torts and him are obviously different type of guys, but you want to talk about a man who probably owns a locker room. Coops is probably up there. What do you think his message is to Tampa Bay here?
Well, his message has been sort of a difficult one this year because Tampa has been one of those inconsistent teams. And, you just look at their recent stretch here. The last time they had a 4-game homestand, they went 1-3. They started off with a big win against Colorado. Then they lose 9-2 to Florida, 4-2 to Ottawa, and 5-3 to Washington. Then they go on the road, and they win 2 road games at the Islanders, at the Devils, and they get spanked by the Flyers.
Yeah.
To finish off that road trip. So, look, Tampa is a better home team, no question. You just got to look at the stats, and you can reference the numbers that they have at home. They're the number 1 power play at home. One second, I'm just trying to find their home record. But yeah, they're 18-8-3 at home versus 14-16-2 on the road. So they're clearly a better home team. For me, if you're John Cooper, you're just trying to you're trying not to say too much to a group that, a core group that has been together for so long and understands how to win hockey games. But what you're trying to do is just get everybody to buy into playing just a simpler game and more of a consistent game because Philly was missing so many guys in their lineup, including Konechny, who's one of their best forwards, and they got their lunch handed to them, right? So if there's enough pride in that locker room to understand that effort can't be tolerated, especially at this time of the year. And I expect a big bounce back from Tampa. But in to argue against that, Buffalo's a team right now playing –
especially on the road,
urgent hockey right now. They're finding ways to just grind out points and get wins, and on the road, you've seen the sense of urgency pick up for them.
Hagel for an assist. He's on a 14-game point streak. That is
wow. That's quiet.
14,
that's a quiet 14 gamer.
14 games. So I mean, we reference the lines a lot, but I mean, John Cooper messes his lines up mid-game more than almost any coach in all of hockey. So Hagel's probably still on that top line with Stamkos on the second line, but it's super fluid. And then at the end of the day, this is a Buffalo team where the top line is not scoring again. And this is a Tampa Bay team that basically has no secondary scoring. It's tough. It's tough to really back either offense. The thing that does worry me the most about this under is Kucherov just poaching, if they're up, poaching empty net points.
Yeah.
Like, hopefully it's 4-2. Hopefully it's not 5-2 in that spot, because I mean, McDavid had 3 last night, and he's
9 back.
9 back with 5 games in hand.
Yeah. So it's it's slowly creeping up there. McDavid is quietly catching up.
Tage Thompson over 3.5 shots on goal. That's coming from Steve Melbrecht. I haven't been in love. I've been playing the point market more, the Tuck Skinner, Tage Thompson point, and they've done absolutely nothing. But I'm sure old Tage has been firing the puck. He's been such an anomaly. You would think he was, I don't know, like after coming
Brandon
off.
says it's been hitting pretty consistently. I haven't been paying enough attention to it to know.
I know. I've been staying off the 3.5s. I really hate him. 7, 5, 6, 4, 4, 5, 5. Yeah, so he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 straight on the over on that. And he's on the road, so it will be boosted. But like I said, it's I do like taking on the road. I like the second line on the offense, right? We saw Chinnikov get his 3. We saw Marchenko get his 3 yesterday. And at home, I do like the top line just because the matchups are better. Let's go to Joe's team, Pittsburgh, Seattle. I mean, how good is Sidney Crosby? Like he doesn't get all right,
Ageless wonder.
You're out. Rust, you're out. We see what happened with Ovi falling off a cliff, but Crosby just doesn't fall off that cliff. So I'm hitching my wagon to Rickard Rakell for over 2.5 shots on goal at plus 110 for a half unit. And then his other winger, Riley Smith, plus 120 for a point, half unit. Rakell, since he's jumped up, 15 shots on goal in the 5 goals in those 5 games. He's 4-1 to the over. Riley Smith, points in 4 of his last 6. Up to that top line, he's PP2, but Pittsburgh runs both of their power plays pretty easy. They go in, they probably have to face Joey Decord, 3-8 straight up in his last 11. He was pulled in his last start, 4+ goals allowed. Pittsburgh does not want to go away. They're 7 points out of the playoff spot. Is targeting this top line maybe something we should be doing going forward? Probably going to be heavy minutes.
Yeah, I mean, they got to lead the charge, right? They always say that, you go as far as your best players lead you, right? And Crosby's having an unbelievable year. It's really amazing to see what this guy is still capable of doing at this point in his career. And maybe, we shouldn't put it past him, knowing the dedication that he puts and the time that he puts into his craft. But Pittsburgh, time's running out for them. If they're serious about wanting to be a playoff team, they've got to bank these points. And starting in Vancouver, where they did the other night, I think is a huge statement for them that they go in there and get a big 2 points against one of the top teams in the Western Conference. So this shouldn't be a letdown spot for them if they're serious about who they really want to be.
No, I totally agree on that side. We see Brett Armstrong says Nate Dogg now plus 250 for MVP. Is that a buy low point for Nate McKinnon for MVP? I'm not betting against Austin Matthews. If Austin, I've been saying it the whole time, if Austin Matthews gets 70 goals,
he's winning it.
He's got to win MVP, right?
Yeah.
I'm still in the boat of, because I have tickets on them, obviously. Matthews MVP and McDavid for the Art Ross. And Florida to win the cup. I don't think out of all the teams that have to change the way they play going into the playoffs, Florida doesn't have to.
No, I think Florida is an amazing bet to win the cup. I mean, this is a team that a lot of people expected would fall off to start this season because last year was viewed as like a Cinderella run. Well, they proved all of us wrong. We all thought, oh, they're missing Ekblad. Oh, they're missing Montour. Oh, Bobrovsky's not going to be the same guy. Well, they looked at us straight in the face and laughed at us because they said Bobrovsky is the same guy, and we'll find ways to win hockey games without Ekblad and Montour. And when they're back, we'll be even better. And that's exactly what they've been.
I know, but how good, you look at Vegas last year, you look at, we were on those block shots. We were talking about that defense the entire time. That defense was insane. I don't think Florida's defense gets enough credit, especially last year when they had Gudas too. But they're just one guy maybe away from loading up, like that Luke Shen pick or something like that, just to solidify 7 solid defensemen.
Yeah.
Montour's making big steps too. I think he's coming off a 3-point night.
Look, I have no questions about their defense. And if anything, you look at their bottom pair last year, I think their bottom pair was Mark Stahl and he was a left-handed shot defenseman that they acquired off of waivers. I can't remember his name. And now you look at their defense, it's Ekman Larson, Mikkola, Kulikov. These are all big, tall, mean guys, right? That play with an edge that you complement them with. I know there's no Gudas there, but you complement them with Montour, Forsling, and Ekblad.
Yeah.
It's a pretty solid group of 6 defensemen.
Gudas could come back, no?
Well, if they trade for him, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely.
That's a dangerous.
We'll see. I like Florida a lot. I really do.
All right. Ryan says the Canucks, one of the top teams in the league, not just the West Coast. I'm not doing it today because I think the Kings have to do something on this road trip. They can't go donuts on this road trip. So they got to come in with a big game versus Vancouver today. I've been riding the Vancouver first period money line. I might get it again today, minus 130. It's only lost 6 times over the last 38 games or something. It's been an incredible run, but Canucks have a tough battle today. Bolts all in. Where's Joe? Joe was in, dropped Detroit money line, minus 115, ducked out. But that's where we are with what was our last game here? Oh, Pittsburgh, the double. Just attaching our tickets to Sid, but not betting on Sid. Oh, Raquel over 2.5 shots, plus 115 half unit, and then Riley Smith for a point, plus 120 half unit. Same thing we did kind of with Chinnikov. Find the plus money, split a unit up on half sides. Last one we're going to look at today. Arizona at Toronto. I know Matty Cos was trying to twist twist you on no, they play down to their opponent, they're doing this, and you're like, no, like Arizona is trash. Like,
Yeah.
I know, you don't buy into the Leafs hype that much, and I'm scared that you're going to get hurt tonight because you're finally like opening up to them. Like,
No, I'm not. I mean, I wouldn't bet them, but like I wouldn't bet them to win, not at that price because they're capable of losing this game. But I think, a lot of it's going to depend, and we'll find out within minutes here what the lines are going to be tonight. Like if Sheldon Keefe decides to give this group, another chance to stay together because he's liked what he's seen over a large sample size, then yeah, I feel better about the Leafs tonight. But if he goes into full scramble mode, and next thing you know, everyone's trying new line combinations, stuff like that, you got to think that there may be a letdown again. But this team has played really well over the last 3 weeks, that I'm not going to overreact over one game that they lost
against a team they crushed, who had to come back and had a good angle to play a tight game. And that game was tight until it wasn't.
The Barbashev,
yeah. All right, so let me run down the game. I'll get Carlo's opinion here. Well, I'm going to run 4 bets in this game past him. We're only allowed to pick one. Usually we pick all 4. Toronto crushed Arizona 6-3 last week. Arizona, 13 straight losses. They've been outscored 31-61. Connor Ingram's back. He's given up 7. He's allowed 7 goals on 52 shots in 2 games. So he was not the form he was before. And let's say he was probably playing above his head. Arizona has scored 3 or more goals, 7 of those 13 losses, which is hard to believe. So they're giving up a lot of goals. This is what we got. Yay or nay? Arizona team total under 2.5, -115. They have been scoring. Toronto hasn't really. Oh, he said no. Toronto hasn't had that dud game defensively yet, and it's probably coming sooner or later. Matthews over 1.5 points, +130. Held pointless. Marner over 1.5 points, +135. Ended that 10-game point streak. He had 8 multi-points in that streak. Or Mitch Marner for a power play point, +155. Hitting 5 of the last 7. Arizona bottom 7 in PK last 13, while Toronto's power play 46% over the stretch, while Arizona's been losing 13 games. What do you like?
My favorite play out of the ones you just mentioned is Marner to record a power play point, because the Maple Leafs only had 1 power play last game. You saw Sheldon Keefe get ejected because of his confrontation with the referees. I think the Maple Leafs generate more power plays tonight. The fact that they got shut out last game, I feel more confident on having a guy try to bank 1 point in a situation that he's going to be playing a lot of if he gets power play, versus trying to record 2 points in the game that could go any places. I just looked at the lines right now that were reported at the pregame skate this morning.
Keeping them
no
together.
changes. No changes, right? Everyone's the same. So which means that they're not reading too much in the last game. And, this is going to be a big test for this group of lines to prove that they want to stick together. So we've seen this team win games without those guys contributing. So I would take the chance on 1 point versus multi-points when we're talking about these markets.
Arizona, 13 straight losses. That is a tough run.
Could this be one of those Anaheim games where that started this whole win streak, right? Where they 9-2. Remember that home game they had?
Yeah, like
9-2.
Why could it not be?
Yeah. And if it is, you didn't even mention the Matthews anytime goal, and I know why you didn't mention it, because
it's slightly
no value, right? But I think Matthews chasing 70, going 2 games right now scoreless. This is a game that he has to score, and if he wants to keep pace.
All right. Quick rundown before we get to the post cap. Matt Rempe, we got a market. Sports Interaction gave us a market on whether he would fight or not last night.
Did you hit it?
What's that?
Did you hit it?
+150. No.
No, you hit the no?
Why wouldn't you hit the no? It said with a broken coconut.
Nice.
How could he throw again? Especially with Reeves on deck on Saturday. But everyone's like, you gotta fight. I'm like, no, you don't gotta fight. Yeah. No, Dmitry Voronkov fought Gooley, or the other guy. There was a fight, but it wasn't that one. So we got that. Today, I would love to get message to people at Sports Interaction. Would love to get an Alex Kerfoot point prop. He's back up to the top line. He's on PP1. He's a point tonight if you can find it at plus 125 or better. Like I said, they've scored 3 or more goals in 7 of those 13 losses. The offense hasn't been absolute dog crap, but they're giving up a lot of goals. So I don't see a spot where Toronto gets outplayed by a bad Arizona team. But I appreciate everybody there. Old Neil Green says Leafs win the cup. Okay, Neil.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, start of a dynasty. The dynasty could be broken up at any point now.
You'd be in a lot of people's good books if you predict that happening right now.
Yeah, it is not happening. But maybe, who knows? But let's go for the quick rundown. Another long show today. That's why I like the 2-game slates a bit more. Yeah. Vegas money line plus 135. Same game. Michael Amadio for a point. Plus 135. Vegas. Good matchup versus Boston, who's returning from that West Coast road trip, 3-8 straight up in their last 11. Detroit money line back in the wagon. It's square, but like I said, like Joe said, there's a lot to like about the home and away splits, and I like their response versus the Chicago game versus Washington, where they put up an 8-pack, where they probably could have patted themselves on the back after Patty Kane's big goal there. Buffalo, Tampa Bay under 6.5. I apologize for the under. I know nobody out there. I know you like winners, but nobody likes unders.
I love betting unders in hockey.
You like betting unders?
Oh, yeah.
Good for you.
Because you're winning all the time until
you're winning until you're not. Yeah.
Until you're not, right?
I get it. I like that logic, but like it just hurts to watch.
But I hate like when you have like
I hate when it does
an under 6 and you got like a 1-1 game going into the third, and you're like, okay, I'm feeling pretty good, and then early goal, then another goal, and it's like, oh no, and then you're always worried about that empty netter, right? Or if you got a Patrick Waugh game where he pulls a goalie with 10 minutes left and he's giving up 3 goals. Yeah, I hate that.
No, it's a tough life to live. What was our next play there? Oh, and then the double split on the wingers for Crosby, Raquel on the shots at 2.5 for plus money, and then Smith for a point at plus 120. And then we agreed Toronto, Mitch Marner power play point plus 155 is the best way to look at that game, with Toronto's power play absolutely smoking at 46%. That's what we got. If you've been through this for 30 minutes, we appreciate every bit. Thanks for Joe for jumping on. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Leave us a comment with your best play down there. We'll do our best to interact with that. But great little chat today. Always fired up to see the boys. You as well, Carlo. Tomorrow, not a 12-game slate. Thank God. It's always nice when it is. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Welcome. Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. This is NHL Puck Prop presented by Sports Interaction. It covers. See you tomorrow.
Good luck tonight.